Sit down.
Luke Henry, after kicking Monarch's ass to the depths of space, is back on Earth, and now he's looking to save the world from the Fourth World Foundation. Sure, he had help from Penumbra before, but she's not helping him this time. He's got to face it on his own. Look at these four people. He's coming for a villain known as Adonis. He'll do it. You'll be there. Back it now. First Man 2, Learning Curve.
Good to the last drop. Loving my coffee in the morning. I love my cup of coffee in the morning. All right, let's get to it. Good morning, everyone. Hello. The Barbarian Sasquatch says Conan and Tarzan in the same week. You spoil me. That's what I try to do. I try to spoil all my guests. AJ, relax. I'm here. I am relaxed, buddy. Woot! What is up, Past Master Dan? JP Roca, what's good? You are. Let's see what else. Wrestlers often say that they're Paul Heyman guys. Well, I'm an Andy Smith guy. You damn right. Mug Club, nice. That's right. I listen to him live every day at 10 a.m. Oh, 1 second, AJ. Hold on. Oh, sorry about that. I had to get up and do a refill. Hold on. So tasty. Oh, that is so tasty. Tastes so good. Anyhow, that fills me up in the morning just right. I hope everybody's having a great day. I'm having a good day so far, and we're going to go through some layouts that Joe Kubert did. So Joe Kubert took over Tarzan when DC got it with issue 207. Yes, I am. With issue 207. They continued the numbering. You're going, well, wait, DC 207 were the 206 issues before that. That was Golkey, I believe, and Dell doing Tarzan. Golkey, one of them did it. And DC said, we'll just continue the numbering. So Joe started with 207, but, as time went on, he was also editing, I think. He couldn't do it all. So he started doing layouts for other artists to finish. So I've got some of the layouts. I've got the layouts to issue 239, and I've got scans of the actual book. Here are my layouts. Of course, I'll be showing this on screen, not this way, but here's the actual comic. Joe might have done layouts on the inside, but he rocked the covers all by himself. Oh, yeah. Joe knew how to do covers that just made you go, I got to get that book. That's probably where I got it from. I draw covers that make you go, I got to get that book. So let's dive in. So here we go. Weird War Story covers next. I mean, I don't have any layouts from the inside of that stuff. I know the books you're talking about. I'm going to go full screen on this so you guys can see everything better. So there we have it. On the left is Joe's layout. These were done, I believe, on 8.5 by 11 paper, if I remember correctly. And he would do these, this was his way of writing the book as well, because he wrote the stories as well. You can pretty much see everything that's going on. He's got, in this first panel, he's laying out even where the captions and word balloons should go here. And you can see it next to, let me see something here. That's a little too big. There we go. You can see here, he's got these vines in the foreground, framing up Tarzan kneeling over a boar that he just killed. Why don't artists do covers like that to tease the story? Is it because cover artists do them without knowing the story? Part of the reason, yeah. I mean, that's the good part about doing the crowdfunding stuff is we know the story, so we can do cover-related or story-related covers. Back when I was doing stuff for Marvel and DC, we would know the stories enough in advance to where we could do a cover based on going on off the inside. But now with variant covers and things like that, they're just like, just draw something cool. And I mean, they still submit cover sketches and stuff, but it's more about, ooh, that's a cool pinup-y shot. Let's put that on the cover. So anyhow, we got Tarzan here. You got the dead boar or whatever here. You can see that the interior artist, who I want to say is, you know what? Let me see. It might say on the 2-page spread, because Joe always opened Tarzans with 2-page spreads of who did the interiors. But I love the shot of him looking through these vines, framing it up. I like Joe's more. I really kind of wish the artist that did this really stuck to the placement of where the vines stuck out of the panel and stuff, because I think they just has a little more motion to it than being curved. Over here, this guy, it looks like you could almost take a ruler to these vines. That's how straight they are. Got the close-up here, and then, of course, the figure jumping into the trees. You can see the nice curvature here of the tree to frame up Tarzan. This is a lot of what I learned when it came to composition inside panels, framing things up and such. This panel is a little hard to tell what's going on, so Joe writes a note, hands of beating on hollow log drum, wrist adorned with weird tight bracelets. So you can definitely see that clear here in the drawing. Yes, you are correct. Joe was an absolute master of leading the eye and framing. He really was, and a lot of guys don't do this anymore, which is sad. I actually, before the show started, took this page 1 and took it into a different program and started doing a draw over. Because if it was me, I would have taken these layouts, put them on a light box, and did my own drawing over top. So you can kind of see that here that I did with this figure. So I think it would have been an absolute joy to work over Joe's layouts. So you can kind of see the difference in figure work here with what I did compared to what the artist did that finished the book. Now, obviously, I'm not under the deadline gun, but this didn't take me long. This took me all of about 5 minutes to draw over. So yeah, nice little twist Joe got going on in the figure and stuff. So anyhow, let's continue. Here's the 2-page spread. Hopefully, we're only seeing one half of it here. It was drawn by Frank. I think that says Frank Reyes, Reyes, I believe, is the artist that did this. I kind of was, the credit actually had Joe credited for layouts and storytelling, because when I got this and I just saw this, I thought, oh, this guy did everything and he was really trying to do a Joe. But anyhow, let's zoom in on this half. So we got this nice long shot here. Once again, great framing. Oh, that's it. It's Frank Reyes. Thank you, Past Master Dan. Thank you very much for that pronunciation, Frank Reyes. Nice long shot. Figure jumping down to the ground. And then he crouches. This is Joe just moving the camera so beautifully. I like this better because Joe really is pushing the depth with a big tree in the foreground, middle ground. The tree that the artist did here is more mid-ground. So the depth isn't as in your face as Joe did it, but whatever. It's weird because, like I said, I would have traced right over these layouts to do my finished art, and you can tell that the artist did not do that. Which, that's, to each his own, but I love the framing here of this shield. I just, a little more power going on with what Joe did. But then let's see Tarzan fighting. Let's see what the artist did here. Yeah, I mean, this is what Joe did is so much more powerful, in my opinion. It's amazing how subtle, but how much more dynamic Joe's rough is in panel 2 compared to the finish. I know, right? I have never really done a side-by-side comparison like this before. So this is entertaining. I agree with you. I think Joe is the greatest storyteller. Look at how Joe fills the space. I mean, you literally could have traced off Joe's layouts. I'm not quite sure why he didn't. I mean, he's got the spears coming in here. He's got this guy not nearly as big as what Joe did here. I don't know why he made the Tarzan figure so much smaller. I just think Joe's work has much more power to it. I mean, he's got this guy being thrown off, so that's kind of cool. He definitely drew more of the villagers coming in fighting Tarzan, but I love the perspective on this figure going away from us, leaning in. So yeah, maybe it was an ego thing. Maybe it could honestly also be not necessarily ego, but wanting to say, I earned my paycheck. You could Google search these. I can't remember where I got them, but you could do a Google search and find these online. It could be a fun live stream for me to do a little draw over of some more of this stuff and see how more powerful this figure could be, drawing over it. So maybe I'll do that on a live stream. I can't remember where I got them from. I know Sergio Cariello posted them on his Facebook page. So if you're friends with Sergio on Facebook, you can go to his Facebook page and just do, save an image of each page. Moving on. Let's see. Page 4. Just, panel 1, he stuck to pretty good. He definitely stuck to what Joe did. Joe loved doing these long shots where you really see the camera pull back, and just did them masterfully. And the thing too is, you should do it. It'd be great practice for just drawing and everything. Joe would do these panels with no background or anything. And I look at this and just myself laying something out like this just scares me from the standpoint of, I feel like I'm cheating by not drawing in. I feel like I was cheating by not drawing in trees and stuff like that. And Joe's just like, hey man, I'm getting it done. Book's got to go out. Anyhow, he gets conked over the head here. This almost looks like Joe's inking on that, not the face. I think both figures turned out nice. in this middle panel with him laid out. Once again, if you're flipping through the book, I remember Joe always saying, you say, do it. Would love to see you work over even just a panel of these because I know you're busy. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe that is tomorrow's stream, is I will pick a panel or something and draw over this stuff. I love how Joe did the little design down here for what is what's holding Tarzan captive. So that's pretty cool. Iron ring around his neck, ropes on the piece of wood going behind him, holding the wood, chains to his wrist. I mean, that's something you're not getting out of. And I love this figure that Joe did right here. I mean, this is just great figure drawing right here with what Joe did. And he pulled it off really nicely, I think. You know, everybody's drawing style is their own. So, you know, you can tell it's a Joe figure. The more I learned about Joe, the more you can see Joe's influence in that figure. And then once again, this beautiful long shot here with the big skull mountain looking thing and the little Joe Kubert type pin people that Joe's known for, really showing a nice elaborate scene. Next page. You know, I think he kind of lost it. Joe and Hal Foster both use negative space so perfectly, and trying to do it now is pretty intimidating. That is true. Negative space is a big part, though, that a lot of people that read comics don't quite understand. They see negative space as almost a bad thing, like, oh, you're being lazy. You didn't want to draw and fill up every single panel of detail. Lazy. And it's like, no, it's negative space. It's done for a reason. And that's what people don't understand. AJ says, I met Joe a couple months before his death. It was probably the best interaction with a pro I've ever had. Never met Andy, though, to be fair. Joe was, I loved seeing Joe after I graduated school. Every convention I'd go to, if I saw Joe, he was always like, oh, Andy, my boy. And we'd have a great conversation. And he was always interested in what you were up to. Just great. I like what Joe did in this first panel better. It's a lower eye level. It puts you more in the scene. You feel like you're right here. You feel like you're right next to this guy that's drumming on this piece of wood. It's a lower eye level. You just feel like you're more in the scene. Here, I feel more detached. Tarzan here is framed up nicely with these guys. The swoop of their heads coming in up to Tarzan's head here. Everything pointing at Tarzan's head. And then way back in the background, framed up by these dudes banging on the drums, is the chief seated, not really framed as well. Lots of dead space here on the finish page, which Joe knew where he was going to put the captions and stuff, so he didn't need to leave a ton of dead space. He filled the panel up nicely. Once again, negative space is good, but at the same time, you need to plan it properly, and this just doesn't really work as well. I mean, honestly, I might have just moved this caption box up to here. So you read here to here and then come down. So Wise Guys Entertainment, hello. Listening while you multitask, nothing wrong with that. Then we go back here. Once again, I just like what Joe did better. It's kind of like a one-point perspective, really focused on from Tarzan's point of view, seeing what Tarzan sees. Tarzan's not even, well, Tarzan's down here in the panel, I should say. But perspective-wise, it just really pulls you in. You also realize, like we talked about Joe leading the panel around, or leading the eye around the page, Tarzan's figure here drops this right down to these guys. Kind of happens here. This guy, though, in the way his arm is pointing, his head pulls us right down, his arm pulls us right down. This kind of does, but not as much. And then Tarzan framed up nicely here. You know, I don't know. I mean, it's really tough comparing side by side. Because if I just look at the finished page, I'm like, oh, it's really nice that the angle that's going on here that the artist chose to do pulls you around to this panel. But with what Joe did here, points us right up to these guys, and these guys drive us over. So, oh, showing the heads of the beaten warriors. It's very, this is a very interesting study going back and forth, looking at the differences. Let's see, let's get this zoomed out, pull over to here. So we've got the old chieftain. That is the chieftain, right? Yes, it's the old chieftain guy. He's now going to be telling a story. So we flash back, another great long shot. I mean, the thing about Joe is you can guarantee almost on every page there's going to be some type of long shot. Let's see. Let me look at this page. There's going to be some type of long shot like this. It's really moving the camera, and then boom. Like I said, I learned doing thumbnails from Joe where it's just about getting the shapes in. And then once you get the shapes in, you worry about all the details in the final. Big fight going on. I mean, Joe obviously didn't do much for the fight because he's just doing a quick layout. This guy really, really made this sing with the fight going on. Seeing Joe's roughs does kind of kill the finish. Yes and no. I do like the last panel on the finish better here, the arc of the body on the ground. Yeah, well, and I agree. Like in this, you know, Joe, this looks a little crowded in Joe's rough. This does have more air to it. I do agree. I like the arc of the body. I like how he put this weapon back here as well. Still creates a nice shape, but this definitely, unlike the first panel on the previous page where I thought there was too much room up here, this panel I think is served better with this much negative space going on around it. Oh no! He's so sad. Yeah. This is good. Obviously, as the artist, you don't want to do this exactly because if you keep to what Joe did, look at that. The caption would probably overtake the arm. So, little adjustment here, bringing it down some, because if you kept it up, rotate that up, it'd be behind that caption box. So the artist did a good job here, I think, of laying this panel out. I do like the perspective more on him with his waist here, whereas this guy pulled the camera back more and we see more of his legs. I like this perspective better that Joe did because it drives you into the panel more. What's up, Pop Culture Avenger? Good morning to you and hello. Skin, I do like what the finished artist did here, adjusting the figure so he's not covered up or wouldn't be covered up. He left a little more space. I think this whole page worked out nice. Once again, I like what Joe did here better. I think you could, I like the positioning of these dudes here, the chieftain and his guard behind him, but I like the lower angle that Joe did and the head being being larger and more towards the top as a framing device. And it just puts us right in here. It feels like over Tarzan's shoulder. Whereas here, I just feel a little more disconnected. That's right. Smash that like button. Smash it good. And once again, back First Man 2 Learning Curve. Link is in the description below. So please back First Man 2 Learning Curve if you haven't backed it yet. Yeah, Joe makes everything look effortless. It is definitely a harder angle to draw, for sure. And the camera angle that Joe did on Tarzan is just a little bit lower too. So I don't know. I like what Joe did better. So here we've got a nice intense close-up of Tarzan. You know, it's tough because Joe was just, this guy was definitely more conservative with how tight he pulled the camera in compared to what Joe did because of word balloons and stuff. I have a feeling if the artist drew the head as big as Joe did, well, you can tell by how much dialogue there is, it would have been cropped more. But once again, he could have drawn the head bigger and had the chin a little lower. I mean, you don't want to create a bad tangent with the chin sitting on top of the panel border, but he could have made it a little bigger, I feel, and gotten that point across. Pull the camera back. This guy definitely pulled the camera back a little bit more than Joe did, it looks like. But it still sets up the scene nicely. You've got the pit with the alligators, or are those crocodiles? I don't know. I'm going to say if it's Africa, maybe crocodiles. I don't know. I can't remember. I know isn't one freshwater and one is saltwater? I'm trying to remember. Anyhow, pull the camera back here. I love this. I mean, there's just a little more negative space up here. This is fine. I like what's going on here. So, and then running as it says, and they go to leap in. Now, this is kind of weird. And I think I chalk this up more to the final artist doing a bad job. I look at what Joe did here, and I still get the feeling that they're towards the edge as they are in the first panel. Because if you look at the first panel, I mean, they're right there. They're like a foot away from the edge of the pit. I would have, these figures I think should be a little smaller too. I think Joe had the proportion better. The crocodiles look more intimidating, the size of them compared to what the artist did. They don't look as huge. Panel 3, I actually like the finish better. Well, here's why I don't. Because right here in panel 1, they're literally like a foot away from the edge. In panel 3, the way this artist did it, Tarzan, from this panel to this, from the second to the third panel, Tarzan's like, well, I gotta run back about 10 feet so I can get a running start. Whereas this guy, this is fine. He's just like, I'm going to jump in. But here, Tarzan I still get the sense that Tarzan is pretty close to the edge. So that's the problem I have. They go to jump in. I love Joe's framing with the foot in the foreground here and Tarzan back here ready to jump in. And then, this figure Tarzan jumping in is looking good. Says he's starting to fall, but I wouldn't say fall, as it sounds like the ground has been loosened where the ape-man steps off. It crumbles beneath his feet. Yeah, this is just weird. Because here it looks like he's running to jump. But then here it's like, oh, maybe I don't know. I think Joe did it better. I did until you mentioned the edge. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. That's like an OCD thing for me because Joe had a lower eye level right at the edge, kind of almost looking up, whereas now we're above the edge, and man, Tarzan really backed himself up there. So, God, before I even go to the next page, I just love I just love, I guess the whole point is running and jumping over this. That is one hell of a long jump. Can I say that is a hell of a long jump? Stepping back, the two men take a running start. So, I mean, it does say that they're stepping back, but I mean, good Lord, he really took a step back. But it makes sense. You got to go back. I don't know. I still like Joe's better. So they're running. He's going to jump. Yeah, he goes to fall. Anyhow, let's turn the page. Do I not have? You know, I must not have the layout to the next page because this definitely isn't it. Huh. Okay, so I guess I don't have the whole book. I thought I did. So the original next page is definitely this with Tarzan falling. I love this, man. This is pure comics here. He's like, I'm falling, but I can at least still flip. I mean, his forward momentum basically stopped in a way with the falling. Flips, lands. Well, he did it. And the dude helps him up. Enough. It's time to fight on this rope thing over the fire. All right. Man, I wish I had this page. Apparently I don't. Let me see something here. All right. Well, here we go. So apparently I am missing a page. That kind of stinks. Oh, Past Master Dan's leaving. Going to assume Joe's is better because that fourth panel is perfect. Yep. So we got a nice close up. Once again, I kind of like what Joe did here. It's the camera's a little lower, so you're getting a sense of looking up a little bit. Not looking up necessarily, but the camera angle's lower. Whereas here, it's not as low. No, like I said, I would have just traced off Joe's layouts. Got the two guys fighting on this thing. So it goes rough sketches, pencil, inks. It goes basically thumbnails. And then, yeah, after the thumbnail, which is what I'm showing you Joe did, or the layout, you do your rough pencils and then tighten the pencils and then ink. Anyhow, they're fighting here. They're clashing. Joe's body postures of these guys are tilted over more. So it's more tension going on because they're leaning over more. Whereas here, these guys are a little more straight up and down. But once again, nobody ever sees what Joe did. So you just see the final and you're like, oh, it's cool. 2, 3. Joe's third panel, I like you a little better. You're tighter in. I do like this fourth panel. You know, it was a good call lowering this down so the caption isn't covering any of the figures and stuff. And then, you know, pull back for the fourth panel. I like what the final artist did here, pulling the camera back more, putting these guys up in the top third a little more, give it that nice sense of height. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I like how Joe mostly shot people from below, even if it's just slightly, makes them more weighty. Yeah, it totally does. He slides into first. Who am I? I'm late. That's okay. You're here, and that's what matters. Another competition. Very curious to see what the artist did here because I can already tell you this layout is just awesome with the two guys facing off. Man, I missed another page. Another page I don't have layouts for. I thought I had layouts for the whole book. Damn it. Would have been cool to see what. This is weird. Let me turn the page here. Nope, I don't have that page. Do you mean Hogarth, as in Burn Hogarth? because I love Burnt Hogarth's Tarzan work. And the way he spots blacks is just, man, I could look at this work. Oh, so could I. Joe is just a master at everything. So panel 1, we got the nice close-up of the hands beating on the wooden drums again. So that's cool. I do love how the finish just really shows the hands pulling out of these shadows. You know, I would have been like, oh, I got to draw the bodies back here and stuff. But this is just great. You just see these hands coming out of the darkness. I think that's awesome. Then we have a nice long shot here, the two facing off. And then, of course, the battle starting. I like Joe's figure here more. If you look at from the foot and continue the line up, it curves around the back to his head. And his arm even carries through, so it has a nice sweeping motion to it. You know, nice curve framing up Tarzan. Tarzan is still framed up here in the finish, except once again, it's almost a straight line. You can almost take a ruler and put it on his head and his foot, and it drops almost straight down. So not as much of a curve. It's definitely a little more stagnant. I mean, you got the arm here framing it up, but this really has a nice curve flow to it. And then with this leg here, driving down, I think Joe's is a little more powerful. Tarzan, even though he's getting pulled here by the chain, looks, even in this quick sketch, looks more sturdy, more powerful. Here he definitely is off balance, which is fine because he's getting pulled. Oh, he's going to get hit with the club. The club. Remember the club that you would put on your steering wheel? I had one of those clubs that I put on my steering wheel to prevent somebody from stealing my car. Oh my God, I remember that thing like it was yesterday. The club. Put that on your steering wheel to prevent somebody from stealing your car. Oh my God, that is just fantastic. I had that in the early 90s. Oh. So the club's coming down on top of him. Once again, I like more what Joe did. I think he's a little too close to the panel border here with what this guy did. You know, it's hitting his arm, so that's cool. It should be, but yeah, I prefer what Joe did here with where the head is placed and stuff. It looks more threatening, even though it's hitting Tarzan's arm. It's still tight to his head. Here it doesn't look as threatening. I know a guy that used the club for his Fiero. I used it for my Toyota Supra. All the happy things with Jack Savinky. I love good panel layout just as much as good art within the panels, of course. Did it work, or is that how your Mustang got stolen? My Mustang did not get stolen. I did not have it for my Mustang. I had it for a Toyota Supra. Thanks for the email update, Back First Man, and being in the know. Exactly. I sent out an email update yesterday with 3 pages of new art. Maybe I'll show them here on the stream. I remember that club from the opening of Dumb and Dumber. Oh, yeah. The layouts are definitely more dynamic. My Toyota Supra was awesome. It was an 89 Supra T Targa top where the whole middle roof section came off. 260 horsepower, I think. That thing would fly. Anyhow, panel 2. I think you did a good job with panel 2. Joe had more angle to the figures in the panel than this guy does, the finished artist. Hunched over in the foreground. That works nicely. I like the cropping here Joe did more of this guy than here. You know, Joe's head tilt of the guy is almost kind of tilted down some, whereas here, you know, he has his head pulled back. I think they both work. But Joe, you can see the forearm goes back, angles away from the panel, whereas this guy The arm is parallel with the panel border, so not a fan of that. It's almost a bad tangent with the panel border. Joe is avoiding that nicely. I'm a Mustang guy, not feeling the Super. Oh, if I could have either one of those cars back, I would have my Mustang back in a heartbeat. Prater says that someone different draw the layouts. Yes, Joe Kubert did the layouts, and then Franco Reyes, or Franks Reyes did the final art from Joe's layouts. I wish Andy Kubert would ever do some creator-owned stuff. He has moments you can see Joe in him, but I think Big 2 work holds him back. I'd love to see Andy just get on a cool superhero book. You know, I like the Batman book he's doing now, but I'd rather see him more traditional Batman. I had a 1991 Mustang LX 50. Anyhow, then Tarzan just gut punches this guy. I get more power out of what Joe did here. Here, it almost looks like Tarzan's kind of sleepy with the way his head is. But once again, if you never saw these layouts, you'd never know. Oh, this is part of it. Joe has one leg forward and one leg back. So you really get the feeling of rushing. Here, he's got both legs back. I'd rather have seen the other leg forward like Joe did. I think it would have more power. So we got Tarzan choking him out. I actually like. I like how tight the camera is on what Joe did here. You know, if I can go tighter, I will, because I think it's more dramatic and the camera angle's lower. He pulled the camera back some, but I gotta say, I like Tarzan's pose here on the finish more because it looks like he's really pulling the chains back, choking the guy. Joe drew him hunched over with his arms extended. Whereas here, you can really get the sense that Tarzan's pulling those chains back. So I like Joe's camera angle better, but I do like the pose here that the artist did on the finishes. When I was at the school, Andy would show me his roughs on occasion, and it was legit like comparison here. Once you saw the printed comics, oh man, I loved going down into it is the Vanilla Ice Mustang. Andy lost a Mustang in a street race to Paul Walker back in the day. Shh, don't tell anyone. I don't like the new body style of the 2006. Give me the old 91. I used to love going down into the studio where Andy and Adam worked and hanging out and watching those guys draw. I remember an issue of Avengers Andy was working on when I was at the school, seeing him lay out the page. And then when the printed book came out, seeing it, just thinking how cool it was. And I saw him actually lay out that page. There was an issue. Let's see, Barbara. There's a picture of a Mustang in Drawn Dynamic Comics. It's pretty badass. Yes, it is. I remember an issue, my favorite issue of X-Men Andy ever drew was a fill-in issue before he took over the book that Scott Williams inked. And it's one of my favorite issues. I've got black and white copies of that whole issue. And just looking at Scott Williams inks over Andy, I think Mark Pennington, Andy has worked with so many great inkers throughout his career, but that Scott Williams issue of X-Men over Andy is still to this day one of my favorites. Might have to do a flip through of that on a stream. Take that page by page. Anyhow, then we pull the camera back. Tarzan's like, I'm not going to kill you. Big close up. I kind of like what Joe did better. Pulling the camera in, cropping the mouth. It's just a cool crop. You know, what the finished artist did here, it's okay. But I like what Joe did. Then one of Joe's classic, really long shots, looking through the trees. I think this artist pulled it off fantastic in the final as well. But once again, the artist loses the drama. And you wouldn't know that unless you saw Joe's layout compared to the final. You just look at the final and you're like, oh, that's cool. But he lost it because this skull on a spike in the foreground isn't as big, and it doesn't frame it up as nicely because Joe really has it. Like, you could have almost pulled this up, made it larger, and had it break the panel border a little bit. I mean, I don't agree with what Joe did where it's a tangent with the top of the skull and the panel border, but he still could have drawn this larger and taken it to almost the top of the panel border, or even broken it, and it would have just been so much more dramatic than what the finished artist did here. Movies have changed the drama in comics over time, more intense. Yeah, I can see that. Got a box of Kubert comics at a garage sale, but he may have just done the covers. Any particular issues? Get all of the Tarzan stuff Joe did. Get all the Hawkman stuff Joe did. Joe's Hawkman run is one of my favorites of all time. Definitely get the Hawkman stuff. Get all his Tarzan stuff. I have every Joe Kubert Tarzan artist edition. They are just gorgeous to look at. So definitely get that stuff. His war comics are fantastic, of course. Joe definitely had a cinematic style. Yes, closer in the first panel. Totally what Joe did works. I think the closeness of Joe's first panel, but with this pose, works nicely. Getting towards the end of the story. Now I'm bummed I don't have those 2 pages. I'm going to have to go back and look at what Sergio posted to see if he has them. Damn it. I don't have this page either. Damn it. I would love to have seen Joe's layout for this page. Great big panel. And then an inset. I mean, you can tell this is a Joe Kubert layout, totally. But I would love to have seen what Joe did, because this guy's changing things subtly. So it would have been nice to see what Joe did in comparison and see what this guy changed. Damn. Oh, well. So anyhow, long shot, monkeys and gorillas in the trees. Pull back to a gorilla. Once again, the guy just lost the dramatics that Joe had. Joe had a better tilt to the gorilla's face. That's such a better tilt to the gorilla's face. And the camera's pulled in tighter. Now, even Joe says, lower the head in the panel. But this guy could have lowered the head and still had the tilt. Like, this guy did more of a 3/4 view than Joe did, but I like the slight 3/4 that Joe did more than this 3/4. Pretty much nailed this panel. Camera pulls back some more. If you stick to the shapes that Joe did in the panel and just finish over top the shapes, you won't go wrong. I mean, this panel with the totem poles, I kind of like what Joe did. He had the camera pull back a little farther so you could see the totem poles clearer. But then, the guy nails it with this last panel with the sword coming in and stuff. So, oh, bless you. Thank you. I like that gorilla face in the rough. So do I. I just would have traced that off in my style and lowered it like Joe suggested. My all-time favorite, Joe's Enemy Ace. I've got the Enemy Ace stuff as well. Love that Enemy Ace stuff. I do not have the artist edition of Enemy Ace. I found a Joe Kubert cover in the dollar box in my shop. Classic Kubert. Ragman. Ragman's another great one that Joe did the layouts for. Joe did the layouts for Ragman, and another artist did the finishes. I do not have the Tour Artist Edition. I still need to get that. It's just such a big book. Yep, Dutch tilt, low angle on the cam. Yep. Andy, got to run. Everyone have a great day. Pop culture, you have a great day as well. Joe Kubert, Golden Age Hawkman. I have his Silver Age, Brave and the Bold. I've got the collected edition of his Silver Age stuff in black and white and a trade paperback that's in color. And I have one issue that's a graded 4.5 of the Flash Comics Hawkman stuff because I love the cover he did when he was like 19. I think it's issue 71. I'll have to search. All right, moving on. Oh, this is the first page of the book. I know I have a... Wait, what happened? I know I have... Oh, this is why. Oh, hold on here. Maybe... Oh, there's the totem. Oh, now I... Hold on. Oh, I'm a dummy. I got to back up. I did have these pages. I totally forgot that I was showing one half of a page. So let's backtrack real quick. So here we go. Tarzan tumbles but continues into a roll. Taking advantage of Tarzan momentum, he tumbles over, lands. Once again, I like Joe's 4 panels up here. The crocodiles, the camera's in closer on the crocs. Here, or alligators, whatever. Guy helps him up. I like what Joe did better. This panel's fine. And then, once again, I like the body posture that Joe gave this guy more than over here. I did have that one page. So I do have the whole book. I'm just an idiot, and I forgot they were on double pages like this. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm a big idiot. Da-da-da-da. Joe Kubert, Golden Age Hawkman. Let me show you guys that book real quick. Let's see. That's it. I found it. This is the issue of Hawkman that I own. I have this issue of Hawkman graded at a 4.5. Oh, wait. Nope. It's a 3.5. But it's slabbed. I've got a reprint of it, and that's all that matters. I got this bad boy slab because it'll just go up in value. I bought it about 20 years ago. Love this cover. Joe was like 19 when he did this cover. Love this cover. So thought I'd share that with you guys. Anyhow, dude's beating the drums. That's okay. Nice tight close-up. Once again, I like Joe's last panel, but there's not really enough room for the dialogue. So I can see why the guy did what he did. I did show those. There's that one page I thought I didn't have, but I do. I knew I had the whole book. So let's see the difference. There we go. Yeah, you know, it's just subtle differences. Golden Age Hawkman, some of my favorite. I love that stuff. Great close-up of that face. How do you draw flared nostrils? The way Joe does. Joe Kubert regulated to a backup story. Great cover. Yes. Well, you know, he was 19, 20 years old doing that Hawkman stuff. So he wasn't quite Joe Kubert yet. You know what I mean? He was just, hey, Joe, draw this and shut up. You know, he was still learning the ropes and stuff. Just subtle things like the camera angle's lower. Once again, the camera angle that Joe did, the horizon line is right about where this point is, where the arrow is. That's the horizon line. This guy moved the horizon line way up above their heads. So we're not in the scene. We're looking down on the scene. Here, you're like in the scene right behind these guys. So I like what Joe did so much better. I just would have traced this off. This is cool. Tarzan yelling. Once again, I like this angle better that Joe did compared to this angle. Missed opportunities. And then the last page. Let's look at the last page. Joe was doing that flat kind of eye level where they're almost standing on the panel border, like John Byrne does that a lot. So low angle, and then the monkey jumping down or the ape jumping down. I like, I much preferred to have seen this where these guys were standing on the panel border or, lower them all down on the same plane. I think that would have been cooler. I like showing the full figure, the ape jumping in, because you get the nice air around him. Not a big fan of this crop. Then we've got, they're attacking the guy, so that works out well. They're beating on the guy. I actually like that this guy tilted the camera angle here. Joe didn't tilt it. This guy did tilt it, and I like them coming in diagonally from the side. So I actually like this better than what Joe did. Then we've got two inset panels. Guy's like, oh, crap. Once again, he raised the eye level. So the eye level in this last panel, we're looking down slightly onto this scene. The eye level is about 8-9 feet high. The horizon line's up here, whereas Joe has the horizon line right around the dude's shoulders. So we're more into the scene with these guys. That I prefer. Chief cannot be seen as he's getting beat on by the apes. And then Tarzan's like, I'm out. So, he stuck to this really nicely. The big tree. But once again, this tree is almost really straight. Not much of a curve to it. Whereas here, you've got the nice curve that Joe did of the tree. Curves are nice for composition. Curves work and give a nice flow. You got this nice flow right here at the curve of this branch. Whereas with it being stiff like this, once again, if you never saw the layout, you wouldn't know. Maybe tomorrow I'll take this page and draw over this figure. I think that'd be fun. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Draw over that figure some. I think it's cool. Like I said, flipping through this, you can definitely see that this is Joe's layouts with somebody else's finishes. So, imagine that you're given an assignment to do finishes of Joe Kubert and you think that you know better than Joe. I don't know if he thought that. Joe seems to make the characters face the camera more as opposed to the pencils. Yes, I agree. He does. Like here, they're really looking at us. Here they're looking at something off camera, which is fine, but I'm more connected in this scene. I feel like I'm right there with where the eye level is, whereas here I feel a little disconnected because it's high up. Wonder how rushed he was during this time. I agree these could be more dramatic. Hindsight. Oh, dude, I'm sure he was really rushed. I bet I wouldn't surprise me if he did this whole book in like 2 weeks. So, with the time he had to do it and with the amount of pay, these guys weren't making bank back in the day. This guy was doing pencil and inks, probably making $35-40 a page for pencil and inks. So it was all about getting the book done. Yeah, I think tomorrow I'll draw over this panel for fun. I think that'll be fun to do. So anyhow, he's waving goodbye. He's got him waving goodbye here. I think this stuff was really cool. Cool to see. Let's see. All right. So we'll show you guys something else. So yes, this is the issue I own of Flash Comics 71. Not this one. This is 271. Even though I do like that cover. Once again, great story cover. Love that. Looking into a mirror. I don't know what the hell he's got all over him. Nice Rich Buckler cover. Man, I miss story covers. Let's see. I doubt there's any interior art to this book of Joe's The Show. Man, another great cover. I should do a first man cover like this where it's first man here and then 4 scenes from inside the book. That'd be pretty cool. First Man, 4 scenes from inside the book. Maybe a sexy shot of Penumbra right here where the Flash is. And then 4 scenes of First Man stuff from inside the book. Penumbra's like, look what's happening. How much is your Golden Age Hawkman worth? Probably $600. Ahoy, what about? That would be awesome. I got to draw interior pages, though. I think Joe's greatest cover artist of all time. Love his covers. Yes, I have read number 71 because it's reprinted in the back of an issue of All-Star Squadron. Whatever happened to your Spawn inking? I got to do that. I'll try to remember to do that for Friday. Tomorrow, I'll draw over Joe, and then maybe Friday, I'll do the Spawn inking. Well, I paid $385 for it 20 years ago, but that was 20 years ago. Oh, I was going to show you guys some First Man artwork. That's what I was going to show you guys. Let's see. Here's page 8 of First Man. Old school First Man cover with some dope old school trade dress would be killer. I think so. So the page before this is on the campaign. So you've seen this page on the campaign. This is the black and white shot of it, of course, on the campaign page. So there we have it from the campaign. And then next, we go to First Man. Dun, dun, dun. He's like, what's up, my peeps? He's like, look at these 4 people. And they're like, what are you doing? Are you posing? He's like, well, I'm a hero after all. Whoa, look how big that is. He's like, oh, I'm a hero after all. Isn't that what heroes do? He's like, yeah, take it down a notch there, stud. This, of course, is not the actual dialogue. I love that down shot of the city. Oh, you mean this one? The Fourth World Foundation headquarters. Why, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I enjoy it quite a bit too, actually. So thank you. Anyhow, let's go. So look at these 4 people. He's like, come on, First Man. I got some stuff to show you. If you haven't backed the book yet, you're going to want to back it. I put some work into this next page. I put work into all my pages, but this one, you know, he lands on the roof of the building. The building is like one of the tallest buildings in the city. So there's just sky back here. So there wasn't much room on this page for backgrounds because of, you know, he's on the roof of a building. But then we go into the lab. This is page 1 in the lab. Look at these 4 people going, yo, look at, this is our creation. This is our AI. This is Adonis. Welcome to Adonis. Are the Fourth World people like the Fantastic Four, or are they bad? Can you say, or would it be a spoiler? It would be kind of a spoiler, so I'd rather not say. So here we are in the lab. He's like, this is our dude. This is what we're working on here. Remember, guys, First Man is 7 feet tall. So these guys are like standing next to Shaq. Shaqadelic. Yo. 7 feet tall. Goodness. That fella got a backwards ball cap. He's up to no good. Exactly. And they're like, so this is why we need you, First Man. We'd like you to help us with our experiment. He's like, really? You... Is that the Adonis reveal? good baseball cap. Hot mechanics are rough. That's right. I mean, it could be kind of a reveal. This is a hologram. So in color, this will be, this is a hologram we're looking at being projected up from below. So basically, it's a hologram of the figure. It's a hologram of his arm and a hologram of his head with part of the face taken off so you can see the underneath workings of him. So yeah, this is all hologram. So he has adjectives. Does Adonis have pronouns? He has adjectives, and his adjectives are awesome. Take it easy, wise guy. Thank you for joining. Anyhow, he's like, listen, buddy, we need your help. And this kid says something. He's like, blah, 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 blah. First man's like, oh, sounds peachy keen. I'd be glad to help out. See, you can see some of my Joe Kubert influence here. Pull the camera back, give a little air to the panel, you know. And then we turn the page. Turn the page. Oops, not that. Don't want it that big. He's like, fantastic. Adonis had given me Marvel Man vibes. Feels like he's going to wreck some stuff. You just never know. Adonis is who First Man fights. So he's like, yes, this is perfect. So glad you agreed to help us. One more thing before you go. I need you to shoot one of your little hand blasty things into this container, if you would be so kind. Heck yeah. First man's like, you got it, boss. Is it a panel if there's no frame? It's actually called a vignette because it has no panel borders. So it's a vignette. So there you go, answering your question. First man's like, I got this. No problem, yo. Don't do it. He's being played. Cut to another room in the complex. Oh, dun, dun, dun. Is he being played? So if you backed the campaign, you would have saw this in the update yesterday. So guys, if you want to see this goodness before anybody else, you got to back the campaign, yo. So there's the page. Here's the previous page, because I love that first panel, that lab, the science lab. Your backgrounds are so dope. The perspective on everything is awesome, and a lot to look at, but not distracting. Thank you so much. Got to up my game. You know, when you got guys like John Malin saying he's going to do the best book in the world, and Dan Frag is saying, step aside, I got to back up. I got to bring the juice. You know what I'm saying? I got to bring it. So, you know, the gauntlet has been thrown, and I have got to bring it. So that's what I'm trying to do, is bring it, yo. I'm a 30-year comic veteran. Like Ethan says when he starts his show, except it's me saying, Andy Smith here, 30-year comic veteran and most awesome person. Was first man blinded by the science. No, he was not. Malin keeps ambushing me from the rafters. How many story pages and how much is the shipping to California? 64-page square-bound book and shipping $6, I believe. Danky Frankie, go back it. Link is in the description below. All you guys are killing it. And Shane Davis went on a rant about bringing it last night, and shit got me hyped like I want to go draw. Oh, yeah, Shane's another one, man. I got all these great guys. I got to be like, guys, I've been in this business a little bit longer than you guys, so I got to step it up. Step it up some. Say, look, I might be the old timer. Well, Graham Nolan's actually the real old timer in the crew. Actually, no, Art Taber is the real old timer in the crew. So I got to step it up. It's all friendly competition. There's no crushing. But damn, man, go back it. The link is in the description below. Go back the book. Apparently, Hyperkai Ju's not in the house. Neither Stat Zero. So I will pop the link for you guys right now. Right here, right now. If you're back in Shane Malin, I said Shane Malin. Don't let him know I said that. If you're back in John Malin, Dan Fraga, Ethan Van Sciver, and Shane Davis, there is no reason to not jump on this train. You want, let's see if that worked. Oh, actually. There you go. There's the link. Back it now. If you're back in, like I said, Ethan, John Malin, Shane Davis, Graham Nolan, Aaron Lepresti, Dan Fraga, Billy Tucci, and you haven't backed my campaign yet, all I can say is, what are you waiting for? You got to get on it. You're getting 30 years of experience, and you saw some of the artwork coming to your door. So back it now. That's right. Back it now, guys. There is the link. Back it now. Be proud. Let's watch that video. If I had social media, I'd share it, but social media is bad. I understand. If you don't have it, you don't have it. The art's selling me. It looks like old comic books, great art and fun story. It is a fun story. I can't tell people that stuff. She's in it. So back it now, Danky Frankie. Go back it. You can get volume 1 as well. There's a tier where you can get, well, the featured tier is volume 1, volume 2, and the program book. The program book is a 40-page extra book that has behind-the-scenes art and drawings of First Man by other people. You can get volumes 1 and 2 by themselves. Of course, I would suggest getting First Man 2 and the Black Book, the art of Andy Smith, 112-page hardcover featuring some of my art over the past 30 years. And you can add on volume 1, so you can get all 3 of these bad boys. And get yourself a t-shirt. First Man on the front, Penumbra on the back. Bringing it. So go do it. No, it's 1.2. Volume 1.2. It's actually volume 1. First Man versus Y, the Last Amok. Oh, First Man versus Y, the Last Man. First Man will kick his butt. Come on now. So there you go, guys. The Black Book is totally dope. I did a flip through of the Black Book. So if you go to my YouTube channel and you can see a 2-minute video of me flipping through the Black Book so you can see some of the stuff that's in it. See you, creator, excited about. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And that's right. Please like, comment, subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. I told Art I'd back his book today. I'll back this, though. I got to get the moolah to get the tier I want. I understand, Danky. And guys, I sincerely, enough of that, enough of seeing that. I sincerely appreciate every one of you for backing my project. I'd love to see it get as high as like Graham and Art did. You know, Art's is at 66,000. I'd love to get it up there. I'd love to get it to 100. You know, it takes a lot to produce a book. Right now, I'm not even breaking even. So please do that. Just go ahead and do that. Can it and reback it to get the black book. That works fine. That is fine. I will have them. I will see you on Sunday. That's right. Look under every couch cushion. Yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, right now you might look at it and be like, oh, he's almost at 35,000. That's a lot of money. You know, like Ethan said with the toys, you know, he set the goal for the toys at 400,000, and 400,000 is breaking even on the toys. You know, 35,000 is not even breaking even on this project. So that's why it's up. That's why it's in demand to raise more money. Obviously, more money gets more stretch goals, and everybody wins with the stretch goals because everybody gets them that's backed it. So please back this campaign. And tomorrow I will do a little drawing over of Joe Kubert. If you're like, drawing over of Joe Kubert, what's that mean? I'll show you real quick. So this is page 1, and this is page 1 with me drawing over the layout. So see, this is what I would have done if I got these layouts. I would have just drawn over them like this. You know, so this is kind of like, oh, if Joe sent me layouts. And see, also, Joe's got these either vines or a tree limb in the foreground here. And I would have done that. I would have kept this as a framing device here in the foreground, done this vine here like Joe did. But that's what, exactly. Get this man a 6-figure campaign. Yes. Reach for the stars. I'm trying. Nice puck. Thank you. So anyhow, this is what I'll do tomorrow. I'll do a draw over tomorrow on the last page. The line art is what sold me. I've seen the video a million times, but the line art just grabs you. The line art is why I'm backing. Well, thank you so much. And if I can get enough backers, I might do a tier where I add a book of all the black and white art. So I'll be doing it digitally so you guys can see me drawing at the same time. So this was done digitally. So I'll do it digitally so you can see me drawing at the same time. So there you guys go. There you guys go. I will be back tomorrow. And as I like to end each show on a good note, this is what I'm bringing back. Yeah.